That is not what I was expecting to find. These are the most expensive arrows I've ever shot. Carbon Express Maxima Photons. After my last video with Brittany at Fort Garrard, one of her sales reps left me a pack of arrows to try out. These are the Carbon Express Maxima Photon SDs. The Photons are their top of the line 5mm offering. These are the 300 spine. They're coming in at 8.9 grains per inch, 2000 straightness. They also come in 350 and 400 spine. I've never shot a Carbon Express arrow, so this will be new for me, but I'm excited. Let's get these out of the box. We'll get them cut and glued together and go shoot some groups with them. And at the end, I think we should shoot one into something hard. As we open these up, this is the six-pack of pre-fletched arrows. They're coming pre-fletched with Q2I Raptor X vanes. They've got what they call their Bulldog knock collar, launch pad nocks, and we've got a two-piece aluminum glue-in insert collar system. The insert comes threaded for back weights, and the insert collar system weighs approximately 31 grains. Since I already have the scale out, let's weigh these and just see where they're at. 330.4, 330.0, 330.0, 330.8, 331.4, and 330.6. So they're all plus or minus a grain. I will say their wraps and labeling are some of the prettiest I've ever seen on an arrow. All right, these are supposed to be 2/1000 straightness, so let's just have a see here. Let's look at this end. Little tiny wobble. I'm probably gonna end up cutting that out. How about this end? Oh, that end's smooth. Little wobble. Like maybe just a hint of wobble on that knock end. Touch of wobble. Touch of wobble on the knock end. Touch of wobble. A little bit of wobble. And last one. Oh, that's probably the worst of them. Not too bad on this end. So all of them have a little bit of wobble down here on the end, but I am going to be cutting probably close to 3-4 inches off. And all of them had just a touch of wobble on this end except for one. I'm just going to give these a quick square up, and that includes the factory side. Make sure everything's straight. So now reinstalling the components. This is the Bulldog collar, and it's just going to slip over the end of the shaft. This is their launch pad knock. It's a 5mm knock, and it just slips in there. And for their insert system, you're just going to put in this small aluminum insert, and then this ends up fitting over top of it. And then this, when you screw that in, it locks everything together. So let's get these glued in. For the inserts, we're going to be using the Boning Arrow Lock. This stuff has been awesome. I used it on my Rip XVs, and I've used it in a few non-archery things, and it is a good glue. It holds stuff really, really well. So I'm only going to do 5 of these. I want to keep one set of one insert just in case I think I need to come back and do a bend test on these arrows. So we're going to shoot them and see how they do. And if for some reason they're not performing like I think they should, then we'll come back and bend test them, see if we can't get a little more consistency out of them. But first, we're just going to shoot them the way they come fletched. And kind of like everyone else, they've jumped on the bandwagon. They've got threaded inserts so you can put weights in. There's a wrench that you can order online directly from Carbon Express that allows you to insert weights from the back of the arrow. And you can buy their weights. Oh, come on, get in there. Ooh, almost didn't get that one in. Take our collar, that just slips over the top. And it seems to be a little snug, which is good. You don't want that loose. And then that just screws in. And that is just a standard field point. It's not the skinny ones. There we go. I'm excited to go shoot these. Let's give these a quick respin now that we got them cut. Just a touch of wobble, but it's not bad. Touch of wobble. Well, that's got a lot of wobble to it. Now that we're all built up, we are coming in right at about 450, 451, 453, 452 and a half, 453. 452 and a half. All right. These are a great looking arrow. The weights are fantastic. They're all within about a grain. I am a little concerned about how much wobble I saw up here on the end, especially considering these are supposed to be a 2000 straightness. This is their premier top of the line 5mm. My PSE is set up to shoot 5mm because I've been shooting the Rip XVs out of it. So we're going to use that. So let's go outside and see if we can get them sighted in at 20 yards. We got a little rain overnight and into this morning, so the grass is still a little wet, and holy crap is it humid this morning. All right, we got the PSC XF33 out here with the Trophy Ridge. Now this thing is dialed in for my Rip XVs, which are a lot lighter. So we're gonna give these a run. I'm guessing 20 should still be pretty close. And then we'll try stepping it back. Well, not too bad for 20 yards, I guess. We'll see. I heard those slap. Oh, I did. I busted that knock. All right, we're down one knock. We're going to grab a quick chrono speed so we can build a sight tape for this. 274. 275. We'll call it 275. We got a quick little sight tape here with Pro Archery Ballistics. That program just works so well. If you guys haven't looked into it, it's on your phone. And once you got everything set up, it's easy to print out new sight tapes and get your stuff set up really quick. So I got this one set up because we're going to put it on the vertical scale here because I don't want to mess with my scale for my Rip XVs. So we're just going to put this on here. This program is only like 10 bucks a year, and I'll be honest, it's super easy to use. Crank out some easy sight tapes. All right, let's give these a run at 50 and see what happens. Man, that app is so good. Look at those two. Yeah, they're right in there. And these two are just a hair outside, but the height is pretty solid. Let's try that again. All right, we're going to try another group here from 50. Let's see if we can't tighten that up a little bit. Sounded good. A little improvement. Not quite. So those, I still got those three that are right in there. That one's still just outside a hair. So out of two groups, you know, they're not flying bad. So obviously the real test of arrow flight is how do they handle a broadhead. So let's go grab a broadhead and screw it onto one of these and see if it's still landing where it's supposed to. All right, we got the cutthroat single bevel on there. This is what I'm hunting with this year. That's what I hunted with last year. This is actually the broadhead I killed my deer with last year, so. Whew, it landed right in there. Well, if I had to guess, I'm thinking that one's the broadhead actually. Let's find out. Nope, I was wrong. Not that one. Oh, yep, that one's a broadhead. So it definitely grouped with the arrows. I was getting pretty worried there after we had cut them and spun them, and they were still getting some pretty good wobble on the ends. Now, I didn't put a broadhead on all of them. I just put a broadhead on one. It still grouped with the group at 50 yards out of a well-tuned bow. Now, I bet I could probably get these to tighten up if I went through my whole build process, which would be doing the bend test, making sure they're all spine aligned that way, stripping off these veins, putting on some bigger veins with more helical on them to give them a little more control. They'll probably shoot really well. My concern, these are not a cheap arrow. For the 6-pack that are pre-fletched, they're $150 a set. If you just want to buy shafts, they're $250 a dozen. So at that price point, I was expecting them to be a little bit cleaner when it came to how many of them spun nice. But overall, they shoot and they group well at 50. I'm going to play with them a little bit more, but if you want to try the premier offering from Carbon Express, the Photon's the arrow you want to try. But before you go, we got one more thing to do. Well, that is not what I was expecting to find. Seriously? Look at that thing. Okay, I'm going to give it to him on this. 50 yards on a cinder block. And it's not broken. It's not nothing. Did that sleeve come off, or did we bend that sleeve? Ugh. Apparently doesn't want to come off. That may have got glued on too, so that's impressive. That's really impressive, because I know if I was to shoot one of my Rip XVs into that, that would not be the case. Oh, I just realized I'm missing knock and bushing. Carbon Express Photons. I don't know. Pretty tough arrow. That's what I found.
bushings right here. We're back in business.